Today we are sponsored by Sneezes. Are you interested in getting rid of snot, but also you love drama? Try sneezing. Remember, it's your snot. This is about you. Sneezing. Today we're also sponsored by Safecrackers, a new reality show where we follow a group of safecrackers as they crack open bank safes on the search for riches. This is not to be confused with the show Safecrackers, the reality show about risk-averse white men. I'm proud of this one, so let's let it sit. Safecrackers, not Safecrackers. Alright, so today is a special episode. We're highlighting a companion podcast for the Where's Waldo audiobook podcast. Sort of. So what this really is I've been messing around with AI. I took the script from the Anvil episode and I plugged it into Google's Notebook LM service, and I told it to make a companion podcast for that episode. I was actually really taken aback by how much this AI service figured out what the podcast was doing. And so everything you're about to hear is made by AI. There's like no script or anything like that. I think it's actually kind of fun. So yes, it is two robots doing a podcast that's about an audiobook of a fake book. If you didn't listen to the Anvil episode, go back and listen to that one first. Or don't. Just follow your heart. So here's the AI companion podcast for the Where's Waldo audiobook from the Where's Waldo, Anvil Factory. So happy holidays. More real episodes are coming soon. Thanks.
Wow, that Where's Waldo episode, you know, the one in the Anvil Factory?
Yeah.
I gotta say, it really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just about, finding Waldo this time.
It really wasn't, no. It was so much deeper than I was expecting. Like, who knew anvils could be so, philosophical?
Right, it was like they took this ordinary, almost comical setting and turned it into this, reflection of all our anxieties.
Yeah.
About work and purpose and trying to find meaning in it all.
Exactly. It's like you zoom in on this one anvil factory and suddenly you're seeing the whole of society.
You see these workers and they each have their own, their own story, their own baggage.
And their own dreams, or sometimes their lack of dreams, which is maybe even more poignant.
Like Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. He's so disillusioned with that whole find your passion thing.
Right. Like, can we just go back to the cubicle, please?
And now his big passion is appetizers.
Right.
Which, I get it. Appetizers are great, but
there's a certain sadness to it, right? This longing for something simpler, something that maybe he felt he had and lost.
And it's not just Jimmy. It's like so many of the workers, they're going through the motions, they're stuck.
Like hogs in a machine, which, an anvil factory is literally a giant machine.
It makes you wonder, what happens when your whole sense of self-worth is tied up in your job?
Especially when that job, maybe it doesn't give you much back. In terms of fulfillment, And
then there's Lester. Oh, Lester. The former violist.
Yeah.
What everyone keeps mistaking for a violinist.
I love that running gag. It's funny, but also kind of heartbreaking,
It is, because underneath the humor, there's this sadness to his story. He's estranged from his family.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just feel that regret, like he's longing for a different path.
Right. And it raises the question, what sacrifices do we make for our passions? And are they always worth it?
Heavy stuff for a Where's Waldo episode, right?
Right. But then you have Grant. Grant is he's just a ray of sunshine.
He just loves anvils. He's so happy just, doing his job.
And he's got this simple little song stuck in his head. About anvils, of course.
It's so kitschy. But it also makes you wonder, is he naive? Is he content? Or is he the only one who's actually, figured it all out?
That's the thing about Grant. You can't quite figure him out. But he definitely makes you think.
It makes you wonder if maybe we're overcomplicating things. Maybe we don't need to find some grand purpose. Maybe the simple things are enough.
Maybe they are. And then there's Frank, the ex-firefighter.
The Pomeranian and the methane splice.
There was a misplaced gun. Oh, Frank.
It's played for laughs, but you can sense the trauma.
Oh, absolutely. Underneath that wacky story, there's something really heavy going on.
It's like they're saying, even in this world of clanging metal and repetitive tasks, there's room for these incredibly personal human stories.
And they all have these invisible burdens, these past experiences that shape who they are.
And the story doesn't just, stay on the factory floor. We go upstairs to the offices, and it's like stepping into a different world.
Yeah, it's like you go from this gritty, sweaty reality of the factory floor, and suddenly you're in this sterile, almost antiseptic office environment.
Yeah, it's a total shift. And then that marketing department. Oh, man.
Oh, tell me about it.
That job interview for the marketing partnerships coordinator, I was dying.
The questions, were they for real?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like anvils to kill roadrunners. Who thinks of this stuff?
It's like they were trying to satirize the whole corporate world. You know, how they can take anything, no matter how ridiculous, and try to spin it into some amazing opportunity.
Like anvils. The solution to your roadrunner problem. Give me a break.
And the candidates. I love the responses, like that first guy trying to rationalize it with his experience at a paint factory.
Right. Like, oh yeah, paint, anvils, it's all connected.
And then the second candidate just embracing the absurdity. A world without roadrunners.
I know. It's like he was in on the joke. Or maybe he was just, I don't know, really committed to the corporate vision, no matter how crazy it was.
And let's not forget R&D with all their wacky anvil prototypes.
Oh yeah, the Womanville, the screaming anvil, the AI-powered anvil. It's like, what are they even doing over there?
It's innovation for innovation's sake, right? Like, do we really need a screaming anvil?
I don't know. Maybe if you're into heavy metal blacksmithing or something.
Maybe. But it makes you think, right, about our obsession with the next big thing. Are we actually progressing, or are we just, chasing our tails?
Good point. And then finally, we find Waldo.
Of course he's an R&D.
Right. Hiding among the screaming anvils and the Womanvilles.
Like he's either seeking refuge from the madness, or maybe he's just drawn to the weirdest corner of the factory.
Either way, it's a fitting end to an episode that constantly keeps you guessing.
It really does. What struck me about this episode was how it managed to be, like, both funny and really thought-provoking.
Yeah, I was laughing one minute, and then the next minute I'm like, whoa, existential crisis.
I know. And that's what's so brilliant about this Where's Waldo series. They use humor to, like, sneak in these deeper themes, without being preachy or anything.
Like they're smuggling in these profound insights under the cover of a children's game.
Exactly. And it works. It stays with you, long after the episode's over.
It really does. And for me, the big takeaway was it's okay if your job isn't your passion. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out.
Yeah, that's such an important message, especially these days when we're constantly bombarded with, find your passion, follow your dreams, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Like sometimes it's okay to just find contentment in the everyday.
In the present moment, even if it's not, Instagram perfect.
Yeah. Exactly. And maybe that's where we find true happiness, not in some grand pursuit of purpose, but just in appreciating the little things, the absurdities
that make life, life.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of this episode. It reminds us to embrace the messiness, the contradictions, the humor, the heartbreak, all of it.
So it's all part of the human experience.
And you know what? This episode got me thinking. I mean, if you were working at this Anvil Factory, where do you think you'd fit in?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'd be drawn to, that R&D department.
Really?
Yeah. All those crazy prototypes, like the constant experimenting. I don't know. That appeals to me.
I could see that. You'd be the one, coming up with the anvil that plays Mozart when you strike it.
Exactly. But maybe a less, screamy version.
Right. For me, I think I'd be down there on the factory floor with Jemmy.
Oh!
Longing for those appetizers.
I feel that. But hey, at least you'd have Grant's, Anvil song stuck in your head.
That's true. But I think it brings us back to one of the big takeaways from this whole episode, right? There's no one right way to find meaning in work.
Absolutely. It's about, finding what works for you, what brings you that sense of satisfaction.
Even if it's not what society tells you to be passionate about.
Yeah.
Like some people find joy in the repetitive stuff, the predictable. Others, they thrive on novelty and challenge.
It's all good. What matters is that you're present, you're engaged, you find those moments of connection, even humor.
In the midst of the Anvil chaos.
Exactly. This episode has really got me thinking about my own relationship with work. I think maybe I've been putting too much pressure on myself to find that that dream job.
Yeah.
When maybe it's really about finding the good in the everyday, in the tasks, the people.
That's a really, really good point. And I think that speaks to the power of stories like this one, right? They make us reflect. They challenge our assumptions. They help us, live better lives.
More fulfilling lives, I think.
So, dear listener, as you go about your day to day, keep an eye out for those unexpected moments of Waldo-esque absurdity.
They're out there.
Maybe it's a conversation with a stranger, a funny sign, a moment of quiet contemplation that makes you see the world a little differently.
Embrace those moments. Let them remind you that life is full of surprises.
And that sometimes the most profound truths are found in the most unexpected places.
Just like Waldo himself, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered.
Until next time, happy hunting, everybody.